Welcome to Prerona Television Canada. On behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching, we are very happy that we are continuing our leadership speaker series, and today we are having our 50th episode. And our topic today is leadership and building social influence. And we will be discussing a couple of issues of building social influence, fraternity and leadership, synergy and collaboration, optimizing social influence in leading. As usual, our trainer and speaker, Advocate Jiaur Rahman, is with us. He's the CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty of Independent University. We are very delighted to have him as he's very resourceful and knowledgeable in the topics. So I now welcome Advocate Jiaur Rahman to continue his sessions. Thank you very much.
For somebody. Okay. Good evening in Canada. I'm just having a little bit of trouble. Just give me one. For some reason, my presentation is not coming out properly. Just give me a second. For some reason, it's not coming out properly. Okay, I think at this point we can see my presentation, hopefully. So today's presentation is on leadership and building social influence. Today is our 50th session. We've been doing this for the longest time. So good evening in Canada and good morning in Bangladesh and rest of the world. So leadership and building social influence. In this session, we are basically focusing on how we can evolve our leadership based on our own social influence into the audience, into the people with whom we will be working. So it's interesting to think in those terms that sometimes people think that leadership is all about knowledge and about communicating to people in the right earnest. Of course, it is about knowledge and it's about communication, but at the same time, just having communication will not cut it. You have to have some form of influence over these people, and this influence doesn't come just by communicating. It comes through a lot of interaction between you and the person and you and all the other person, and what the person knows about you or feels about you is so much important. So moving forward, normally we start off with some quotation. So here's an unknown quotation, but very interesting. It says, leaders do not force people to follow, though they invite them on a journey. So the whole point is bringing people on a journey. In other words, you are moving with a particular agenda, you're moving with a particular vision, and you want your team to take the vision and move forward and kind of absorb the vision inside your own soul and then connect with the leader and move on. So that is the true spirit of leadership. So if you want to lead and if you want to be a true leader in the space in which you are working with your people, you want to show your team the guide to a journey. You cannot force them to jump onto the journey. You can't push them or force them that please follow me because I know it better. That type of leadership will not survive, and specifically in today's market space. So in this market space that we are in currently, people have multi-dimensional perspective. People think in different terms. You and I might come from the same family, but my thought process and my thinking would be quite different, because I have been characterized by a certain set of environment, certain set of knowledge, certain set of materials that I've went through, certain videos that I've watched through my life, certain orientation that is different from yours. So everyone is unique, everyone is different. So understanding that we have uniqueness amongst ourselves, you cannot really push people to follow you. You just can show them the ropes, you can just show them the string to a new future. It is for them to pick up those ropes and follow you through that journey. So it's all about building up relationship. It's all about the influence that we are talking about in today's session, the social influence. The the support that you can only give is the nurturing mentorship support. The rest of the work that the person who is following you will have to do is by himself or herself. So it is just a process through which you will be guiding these people, but they have to be completely feeling at ease with the direction and feeling that this is what needs to be done in order for the organization to move to the next level. So that's the idea of the journey that we are talking about for a leader. So you cannot force someone, but you can only show them the path, you can only show them the direction to the journey, and then you become the leader. Moving forward, the most dangerous phrase in any language is "we have always done it this way." What this quotation is saying, that if you get stuck with the idea that we know it better, this is how we do things here, we don't want to evolve, we are not interested in listening to your point of view, then you are in a big murky land. Basically, you're going to get stuck. You're not going to see creativity. You're not going to see collaboration. You're not going to see synergy. We are going to talk about collaboration and synergy later on during this session. But what will happen is that new ideas will not pop up. New thinking will not come into your fold. Why? People will realize that whatever we say to this person or to this group of people, they will try to go back to their old style. They will force their thoughts on you. So your new perspective, your new paradigms, your new construct of the new business process, societal change process, or the political change process, whichever domain you're working, will not work out, because the old is gold philosophy has been strongly embedded in these people and they cannot move out of it. While old is gold is also a very important an element and a philosophy, but we also have to realize new changes are the lifeblood of creativity. New changes are the lifeblood of the direction in which the new organizations are moving. Specifically, when you are looking at the post pandemic or pandemic driven environment, things are completely topsy turvy. Things are not the way it used to be in 2018 or earlier. We are in a very difficult and very different sort of global orientation and over marketplace. So in this kind of situation, you ought to be leading the path by suggesting to people that, look, we used to do it this way, we need to move forward, we need to change gears, we need to have more energy, more new perspective into our organization. And that is how you will move as a leader. But if you're stuck with this is how we are doing do it in this organization, then it will be very damaging and also disparaging on the people. The motivation of the people within your organization will falter tremendously. So moving forward, here is another one. A competent leader can get efficient service from poor troops, while on the contrary, an incapable leader can demoralize the best of the troops. It is by John J. Pershing. This is very interesting a quotation. It's suggesting that if you are a true leader, if you can inspire your people with your thoughts and vision, you can also work with an average community. You can work with an average set of troops, although the word troop comes from the military context. But when we talk about troops in this context, we can talk about your business people, your staff, if you're into political organization, we can talk about in terms of your political workers, etc. So the idea of troops having a reasonable quality troops is always great, but if you are a true leader, you can really champion the spirit of the change within these people. Then even with an average set of people, you can create extraordinary outcome. So that's vital, and that is what drives a big organization to the next level. It is the leadership and the people who are strongly connected to leadership will actually take the organization to the next level. It's not just having the brightest people in the organization. Of course, brightest people can be a very strategic asset for an organization, but how you organize them, how you can bring out their strength, bring out their capacity to work together as a team is so much important. So building the team effort is the role of this leader, and that is why John J. Pershing is suggesting that even with an average troop, you can create an extraordinary outcome. So moving forward, this is a quotation that I have. Normally I prepare it myself. So today's quotation on leadership is the ability to build a strong social influence so that people under the influence almost blindly follow your direction. While I have used the word blindly, I don't literally mean blindly, but what I am suggesting by this word is I am emphasizing the point that when you truly become a leader, you will have enough social influence to tell people that do it this way, and they will not judge you but actually get the work done because they have established a very firm, strong commitment on you. They have established a very powerful trust element on you. They feel that my leader can go no wrong, can do no wrong. This is good most of the time, but this is also bad. If you're truly a great leader, this is absolutely wonderful. This is the greatest music that you really want to hear. But if you're someone who's devious, showing forth leadership quality, but actually you are not interested in the community, you're just interested in your self aggrandizement, and you want to move your opportunities to the next level, you will use your people to get to that point. That would be a devastating situation. So I would suggest that before any one of you build trust in any leadership, you need to follow the leader very carefully for a fairly long period of time. And once you get a sizable understanding of who this person is, what does this person represent, how is this person working on the particular agenda is very important. So if you're satisfied in the previous three questions, and if you feel that no, this gentleman or this gentlewoman has the tools, has the knowledge space, has the skills, has the commitment to take us all to the next level, then by all means you can follow his or her direction, and you can also almost go with a blind pursuit. That is nothing wrong with it. But if you just jump in very quickly, thinking that your leader is going to show the way and you will just blindly follow, that may not be the right thing to do, because no one person can give you all the direction. No one person has all the knowledge, neither the skills. So you don't want to be feeling this feeling. You don't want to feel that I am only going to blindly follow this person. As a professional, as a good community person, you need to also get your ideas, get your perspectives into any business or into any change in the society or in change in the political sphere. You have to put your 2 cents into it. You have to put your thoughts into any process. But if you truly believe that the leader has all the pertinent knowledge and skills and capacity and the intellectual rigor, and of course the strong commitment to service the community, then you can follow your leader almost blindly. But it is not suggested. Analyze and then jump in. That would be the right way to address your leadership. Moving forward, um, fraternity is actually sometimes a term taken from religion, but in the context of business, what I am suggesting is fraternity in the sense a spirit of engagement, a spirit of working together. It's the concept of brotherhood or sisterhood, if you want to suggest. In the same token, it is about building trust. It is about working together. So the basic definition: a fraternity or fraternal organization is an organization, a society, club, or fraternal order, traditionally of men or women associated for various religious or secular aims. So it has a religious undertone, but it can be also constructed and thought of in the sense of a fraternity of spirit working together towards achieving a certain target for the organization. So if you have a fraternal community, if you have a community of bondage amongst yourself, brotherhood, sisterhood, then you are one community. You are one powerful community of many people putting energy and support in order to drive some outcome together. So what will happen is something magical, something very powerful can take place because you all are synced. You all are working in one driven path. So outcome will be very successful. So if somebody is leading a fraternal organization, getting things done will be much more easier because there might be competing ideas, but at the end, people will all gel together and collaborate and co-create something unique and exciting. So that is what we're talking about in the sense of fraternity. And when you have the fraternal organization, the growth of leadership is accelerated. The leaders begin to feel more powerful in the sense that there is a huge community base to support his or her vision. So if he is suggesting a new process change or she's suggesting a new total new development in new market space, many people are out there to support this view. Of course, there are negatives to fraternal organization. If the fraternal organization is moving in the wrong direction, many people will not come forth and talk about the mistake in your direction, the mistake in judgment, etc., because they might feel that they will be thrown out of the fraternal organization. So the real fraternity of leadership is when you can judge the situation, you can have a vocal perspective as well, where you can actually critically analyze and at the same time create a particular bond to move forward. These are very difficult tasks. It is easy for me to just come out and say that we have to build a fraternal organization. You and I know that there are many organizations where you feel that you have almost built a wonderful, like wonderful structure, and one fine day you realize that the structure is not really appropriate, but because you know, Jabbar or John or Cynthia or Samantha was doing certain things which you never thought they would be doing. So the fraternity within the organization, the trust element within the organization has been questioned. So this is a continuous process. You can't say that, oh, okay, this is something that we have created, and from this day onward, this fraternity will proceed. That is a good thought to have, but it is always important to realize that the fraternity has to be nurtured, mentored, and guided at all times. So when you do all of that, and then you have a wonderful organization working out properly, then your leadership is strengthened. So leadership builds fraternity through trust, we talked about, through confidence building, through showing respect between you and us and everybody in the team. And teamwork uh, is another vital tool in building your fraternity and building your teamwork. And then ultimately comes the intellect, knowledge space, the wisdom, the skills that you can apply, and you are building within the fabric of your organization, social, business, or political. So I emphasize on the perspective that any leadership to proceed in the right direction, you have to be fraternal in the sense that you are building a social organization or a business organization, a political organization based on trust, based on confidence, based on teamwork, based on your intellect. So moving forward, synergy and collaboration. Again, we have revisited these two terms. We had done this before, but we are coming back to this term because they are very interconnected with leadership. So, what is synergy first? Let's look at the definition. Synergy is an interaction or cooperation giving rise to a whole that is greater than the simple sum of its parts. So, basically, two, one plus one is generating more than two. In other words, one engineer, if that person is working for 6 hours, can get certain things done. But when two engineers work and they're truly working, then the same thing may not take 3 hours. Two times three, it might take 5.5 hours because two brains can come up with some solution faster. So the synergy is actually talking about those things. So if you're building the organization and when you have the energy level up between all your people, then there is a synergistic effect. There is the effect of collaboration, working together as a team, collaborating together. So if that synergistic effect is to be brought into your leadership, then you have to be discussing the entire process. You have to be always mentoring. You have to be always bringing the opportunity for collaboration out into the public so that people within your organization realize that if I do this or if I collaborate, something additional some additional benefit can come about for the organization. And when some additional opportunity comes up for the organization, you are actually strengthening your own opportunity within the organization. So synergy is not just creating an opportunity for the organization, it is creating the momentum for you to move to the next level as well. So what is collaboration? Collaboration is the process of two or more people, entities, organizations working together to complete a task or achieve a goal. So synergy and collaboration are intertwined. They work together. They have the mindset that one sits on the other or vice versa. One supports the other. So you want to achieve a goal. As a leader, we want to achieve targets, we want to achieve particular goals. So if the perspective of synergy is there, if the perspective of collaboration is there, then your leadership is actually moving in the right direction. So as a true leader, you have to be working hard in building the synergy and the collaborative spirit, and that is worked upon by having a lot of dialogue between your people, a lot of communication and trust building exercises, brainstorming exercises. And that's how you transform the organization. So leadership always tries to transform to building synergy and collaboration. So you have to be synergistic and you have to be collaborative on a daily basis. Why I emphasize these two words is because that we have to uh, get this perspective in our soul almost on a daily basis, because every human being, we have this ego within ourselves. When we start to do something good and better, we start thinking that it is I who has delivered everything. It is because of me that things are moving in the right direction. The If you start to harbor these type of thoughts, this type of mindset, or if you hold this type of philosophy, sooner or later you will see a fraying of your leadership. People will start to feel that uh, we don't sort of relate to this person anymore. He was very nice or she was very nice at the beginning, but as we as we started to move along, he started to have more strength, in the sense people started to have more commitment and support for him or her, but he did not take it properly. He thought that this is his own power or her own power, and now he or she is no longer with us. I- that person has become too too much outside our realm of discussion, and has become sort of an extremely dogmatic opinion leader, and that's when your organization will start to falter. So the reason I pick these two topics again and again, when in our presentation is to remind us that in order for it to be collaborative, in order to be synergistic, your leadership traits can never be off guard. You have to be always constantly watching where you are dealing with the people you're mentoring, you're guiding them, but you don't want to be a person who's going to force your leadership. You're going to force your thoughts on that particular community. That is not good leadership. Sometimes you might have to do it, very rarely, when you are absolutely certain that the way you're moving is the right way. It's sometimes you can think of it as a gut feeling that everybody else is moving in the wrong direction. Eh, I through my experience and my knowledge and my severe understanding of this, significant understanding of this community, I know this is the right path. At times you can do that, but it cannot be most of the time, because most of the time, if you listen to your community, if you get the feel for what is needed for the community, then you will be truly championing a proper leadership drive into the community space. So moving forward, optimizing your social influence, basically maximizing your influence, or getting as best outcome from your social influence into your leadership, is the journey that you have to take, is the journey that all leaders must take. So social influence comprises the ways in which individuals change their behavior to meet the demands of social environment. You have to meet the demands of social environment. The whole point is meeting the demands of the market. So whatever the demand pops up, if you're ready for addressing those demands, then as a leader you will be more successful. So as a leader, if you can guide your people so that they also start realizing that the social demands are changing, and you ought to be working with the community in order for the community to evolve and be in a more manageable and more constructive kind of space, you have to build your change. You have to build your mindset so as to address these changes, so as to absorb the new changes fairly quickly. If you get sticky with your old thought, if you feel that I don't want to really change myself too much, let others change around you, that will be a very damaging thought process. If you don't change your mindset around your people, how would you lead your people? How would you guide your people? You cannot tell them to do certain things in a new way because you have never changed your own perspective. So that's very damaging. So you have to be optimizing the instruments, optimizing the tools on a regular basis to change your perspective onto the market, onto the ground. So a proper leader is always working to channel his or her energy in optimizing the changes. In order to optimize these changes, you have to move in the direction of the positive mindset, taking the spirit of the new changes in the market and addressing them into your own particular ways, and your own ways of doing things, and then you move forward. So it is through an effective channel that you actually do so. If your communication channel is very proper and effective, then only you can proceed in this direction to influence the social change that is needed for you to lead in society, in business, and in any sphere of life. So effective communication we had done extensively. We have talked about communication and how communication has to be evolved, whether it is proper in communication or not. Uh, we have all done these issues, so we don't want to move into those channels right now, but we want to emphasize that proper leadership is about proper managing your in communication channels, your ways of delivering your communication, how you show forth, how your body language is, how you are seen, and how you do things. Those are very important. So you optimize your leadership through social influence, through effective communication channel. Moving forward, leaders' social influence. You have to be influencing people in order to lead. So, what are the engagement areas? How do you actually influence? Number one is being persistent. Whatever you're doing, if you do it proper, day in, day out, that will automatically create a social influence on your people. People will start to realize who you are. what you represent and how tenaciously you're working towards a particular direction. That will be taken up by others. The other is dialogue with reason. Whatever you're doing, you're always effectively communicating, you're sharing your thought process, and you're dialoguing with your community people. So they realize that the direction that you're taking is the right direction, because you're moving with knowledge, you're moving with your own wit, and you're communicating. So that will also give a particular feeling of you moving in the right direction. So you're casting a particular vision, and you're guiding the people and community in that direction based on all your persistence, based on your reason and dialogue. You're guiding them towards the direction. So in this direction process, you're also going to come across different storms which were unanticipated. You never realize that this situation will pan out, but you have to be able to manage your resources, being calm, having trust within your system, having trust within your people, and you can move out of these storms, creating a wonderful experience, and uh, telling your people or showing your people that you can actually move beyond the problems, and you are here to offer leadership and solutions. So navigating storms becomes an integral part of your leadership and your social influence. And the last but not the least, having a positive influence all throughout this process. Always remember that leaders have to be positive. If you are negative, then people around you will also be feeling depressed and demoralized, and they will also start to harbor negative feelings. So once you have all these combination of negative feeling, that will be a drag. Those feelings will uh, change the space around you. They will change the community spirit, and everything will come down. So you don't want to be in those type of shoes at all. So you have to be very positive all throughout the journey in leading your particular life. So the influence factor is so vital in a leader's life that if you are a social change agent, you have to be leading with all these components and creating the right social influence in the space. And that's how you actually lead. So moving forward, I think we have come to the end of my session. Yes, we normally end with $1 million question. So today's question is: should leaders focus on synergy or collaboration through creating internal resource person or hire from the outside? So the point here is whether you work extremely hard to create this social influence and leadership team, meaning you create other leaders within your organization through resourcing from your own leadership team, or whether you can actually go out and bring people with the same spirit from the outside. The answer is 50-50 actually. It all depends on the organization. It all depends on the fabric of the organization, and the way the organization had operated perhaps has some influence onto it. So if you are in an industry where a lot of people come from different segments of the other industry, then it's sometimes better to get the most number of input from different community space. And so you might want to bring in new leaders and then inculcate them. They are already inculcated with the spirit of change and transformation. So they have the strong leadership potential with the capacity to influence other. You bring them, you give them the opportunity to grow, and they run very quickly. But at the same time, sometimes you have to do it painstakingly within your organization. You grow your people, give them the right set of tools so they become social influencers, and they become ultimately leaders, and that way they guide the organization further because they have the complete knowledge of the industry. So when they truly transform themselves into becoming a true leader, that might be very sizable an opportunity for the organization. So it depends on the environment, it depends on the industry. uh, Industries which are constantly moving, very, very buoyant industry. Things are always shaping up. IT industry. Sometimes it is best to get people from the outside because you may not have the right knowledge all the time within your own team members. So gaining and garnering information and knowledge from the outside and optimizing their strength areas and building them as good social influencing leaders through knowledge, wisdom, support, etc. They can run even further. Sometimes they might backfire because of other characteristic traits, because maybe that person is too dominant in the workspace. So people lose the comfort level in working, and you become only a tool within the organization. So those are other issues which we will talk about in detail later on throughout the session of leadership. But with this question, we actually come to this end of the session. We can just finally conclude by saying that it depends on the environment and the industry, and it depends on the mindset that people have within your team member, whether to accommodate new people and let them influence you, or whether to grow your own people within your enterprise and allow them to grow. It depends on the way your organization's mindset is set up. It's like the organizational behavior within your organization. How it is set up has an influence onto your decision. But it does not suggest that just having an influence of organizational influence within your organization will be continued till the end of the journey, till the end of your life. That's not the case. But if you are changing something, you better be very careful as not to unruffle the organization and create a different set of difficulty for your organization. So, last comment: the perspective of don't rock the boat unless it's needed is very vital, and you have to be getting this perspective very carefully understood in order for you to actually rock the boat. I'm not suggesting you should not rock the boat, neither I'm suggesting that you should rock the boat all the time. I'm suggesting that there has to be a balance in your leadership perspective so that you create the right social engagement and influence for you to lead within your organization, so that your people are comfortable, trusting, confident, and collaborative within the enterprise to make the organization move to the next level. So with that, I would like to end my session, the 50th session. I am Professor Advocate Ziorman, uh, from Dhaka, and I'm the CEO of IITM. Thank you very much, and wishing you a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. Back to you, Edward Probimondo. Back to you, Edward.
Thank you very much for your the session that you have conducted. Thank you, Advocate Jiaur Rahman. Uh, and with that, we end our 50th session, Leadership Speaker Series, Leadership and Building Social Influence. As we know that we have been with you for last 50th episode. We will be restructuring our session in next couple of sessions. So please keep an eye and we'll update you how our next sessions will be. And thank you for following us, and we wish you all the best and stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank, thank you.